Hello everyone and happy day to you, and thank you so much for stopping by the channel. My name is Talisha and I also go by CreativiTeeByT, and if you're new to watching the channel, I do welcome you and I hope you consider subscribing, and thank you to all of my returning subscribers for coming back and for your continued support. Alright, so let's get into this dress that I absolutely love. But before we do, go ahead and click the like button and the subscribe button if you have not done so already, so that you can get all of that out of the way before we get into this video. So today I will be sharing my graduation dress. Now, just so that you don't get confused, I did not graduate from any school. I've been there, done that, and as of right now in my life, I don't have the desire to do that again. But I work in higher education, and at my place of employment, all staff are required to participate in one way, shape, or form at our commencement ceremony to help get our students graduated, which is extremely rewarding. So I love doing that. But with that being said, you already know that I wanted a new dress or outfit to wear to the graduation, and I had the same thought the year prior, okay? And because of that, last year I purchased some ankara fabric that had like this green colorway based what I'm wearing to match the school colors, because the school colors are green, and I purchased obviously that fabric so that I could make that dress that I had desired to make at that time for commencement. And I really don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to where I was not able to do it, but I wasn't able to make it for some reason or another. I mean, it was to the point to where I didn't even get around to taking the fabric out of the packaging, so it just never ever like got to the point of me doing it. But that brings me to this year. I revisited the fabric and I had everything prepped to get this dress made in time for this year's ceremony, but life happens, right? It just happens. Different things are going on in my life that took priority, and I wasn't able to get the dress made for the actual ceremony. However, 1 week later, I was able to get my graduation dress made, and here I am with you today sharing that dress. So if you are interested in seeing my graduation dress and hearing all about the pattern I used and my experience while making it, please continue to watch. Alright, so again, thank you so much for tuning in to hear all about my graduation dress. So let's talk a little bit about the pattern that I used in my experience while making it. I used Butterick 6702, and the pattern description is Mrs. a dress that has a fitted bodice and princess seam flared skirts. There are sleeve and length variations, and there are separate pattern pieces provided for A, B, C, and D cup sizes. Okay, love that. So there are 3 views to this pattern. The differences are the skirt length and the skirt design and the sleeves. Views A and C are very similar. The only difference is the skirt length. View A's skirt is the shorter skirt of all the views, and C's skirt is almost at the ankle. View A does not have a sleeve cuff, as the sleeves are like 3/4 length, and View C's sleeves have cuffs. View B has cuffs on the sleeves, but it has like this long handkerchief style of a skirt, and that's like the difference between like the skirt styles. I made View A, which is, like I said earlier, is the shortest of all of the views, but it's still a good length. So the fabric recommendations are going to be your cotton blends, poplin, chalets, lightweight denim, linen, and rayon. And the sewing skill level that is on the pattern is set as easy, and I do agree that it is very easy. The only issues that would stop a beginner from being able to sew this view or this dress period will be the construction of buttonholes and sewing down the buttons, but this is super duper easy. And as far as pattern pieces, I used 13 pattern pieces to make this dress, but you really only need 11. I added 2 pattern pieces to make a couple of modifications that I will talk about here shortly, but the pattern pieces that I used were the bodice front that was drafted for a D cup, the bodice back, the yoke back, the skirt front, the skirt side front, the skirt side back, the skirt back, the front band, and which are the plackets here, the collar band, the sleeves, and the 2 pattern pieces that I added for the sleeve tabs, and of course the pockets. I had to add the pockets, okay? So the notions that you need is going to be your thread and 9 1/2-inch buttons. The pattern sizing comes in 6 to 22, and the size that I cut was a size 20, and I feel like it was the perfect fit. It's not too tight and it's not too loose, okay? The absolute perfect fit, just wonderful. Did it look like the photo drawing on the envelope? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. The instructions were very easy to follow. Very, very, very easy. And although some may look at this pattern and it may look like it's complicated, it is not. And there's nothing about the instructions that would trip you up and get you confused. As long as you know how to read patterns and pattern instructions, you will be perfectly fine. The things that I love about this pattern, well, let me tell you, I love that this is a button-down dress, or a shirt dress as some call them. I like the length. The length is perfect, and I usually always have to add length to my dresses to make sure that I have like the modest appearance when that's the look that I'm going for. But even at the shortest length for these views, which is view A, is perfection. You will not have an issue with the length at all. I also like the front darts, and I absolutely love all of the princess seam flared skirt pieces. It just gives it so much volume, and it just gives shaping along with the volume, so I love that. One of the reasons why I was attracted to this pattern was because the skirt on the pattern cover had the type of volume that I was looking for, and again, that's why I was drawn to it. I saw the view A and thought, if the skirt actually flared that way, the way the pattern model has it illustrated, I know I would love that dress, okay? Because that's just the look that I like. And I like the fact that you can get that without having to put gathers. A lot of times I don't get volume in like my dresses unless I'm doing like gathering stitches and you're bunching up fabric. It gives me the same effect, but it's a little bit more slimming, so I like that. And shortly after picking up this pattern, like a month or so later, my friend Rochelle of rochelle.handmade.designs made this dress, and I didn't know she was making this particular dress or anything like that, but I saw her photo posted on Instagram and I immediately started drooling over her dress. Then I clicked on the pattern hashtag that she had attached to her post just to see that which pattern it was, and it was the same exact pattern. So you already know that this pattern was pushed all the way up to the top of my make list, and knowing that I needed to make a dress for graduation also helped me to go ahead and cut this out, because it was the perfect timing to see that dress actually made up, and I was still kind of struggling as to which dress I wanted to make for the graduation. So I said, decision has been made. I am making that dress. It is absolutely perfect. Loved how it turned out. So there was nothing about this pattern that I disliked. I didn't learn any new techniques. I have made shirt dresses before, so yeah, everything that I did was something that I've already done before. I didn't have any first time experiences either, but it doesn't matter because it just looks great. The fabric that I use this beautiful floral ankara fabric. As stated earlier, I purchased this a year ago with intentions on making a graduation dress for the same company, but I didn't get around to doing it, so I just used it this year. And I thought the florals and the green mixed with the navy blue was a perfect color combination, mixed well with the school colors. and I purchased this from House of Mami Wata on Etsy. And for my buttons, I used 9 buttons down the front of the dress, and I did add sleeve tabs that are on the side, so I added an additional 2 buttons on the sleeves so that I can connect the tabs when I want to roll the sleeves up. And the button sizes that I used, it called for 1/2 inch buttons, but I used 3/4 or either 5/8, now I can't remember, down the front, and I used 1 1/8 size buttons on the tabs because I just wanted them to be a little bit more exaggerated, and I wanted to make sure that it covered up the little marking for the when I sewed down the tabs. So as far as alterations, yes, so I like how the sleeves look originally on view A, but I made a shirt dress not too long ago, which was McCall's 8031, and that shirt dress had sleeve tabs with a button to connect, and I found that I really like that feature, so I added the tabs and the extra buttons on this dress, which is what I just spoke about, these tabs here and these buttons. So yes, that was one alteration that I made, and I did use the actual tabs from the McCall's 8031 to make that happen. And so all I did was, like I said, I made the tabs, used the instructions that they gave for the tab, and then I transferred the little marking where the tab is supposed to sit on the sleeve from the other sleeve. I used the Butterick sleeve pattern piece to make this dress, but I just used the actual marking from the other sleeve with McCall's 8031 to make that marking. So yes, I used a couple extra pattern pieces, but it all worked out. And also, this dress does not call for pockets, so I did add pockets. What I did was I also used the pattern piece from McCall's 8031. I measured 1.5 inches below the waistline marking on this pattern, Butterick 6702, and I set the pockets there. So I just put the top of the pocket pattern piece at the 1.5 inch marking below the waistline, and it turned out perfect. Like, it couldn't have been placed at a better spot. The pocket piece, like I just said, came from McCall's 8031, and I used that pocket piece because that was like a perfect pocket for me. When I originally made McCall's 8031, I always felt like I had like enough space in my pocket to put my phone. It was deep enough but not too deep, and it wasn't like too shallow, you know, it was just the perfect size for my hand. So that is why I use that pocket piece. And another alteration that I made is I added 2 inches to the length of this dress, but that wasn't even necessary. The length would have been perfectly fine without the additional 2 inches, but I was worried that it would be too short because it's always an issue for me, okay, the dress is being shorter, and I just didn't want that to happen with this dress. And even though I measured it, I still didn't trust the process, but I know now that I don't have to add the 2 inches. Yeah, just for some reason I didn't trust it. And for the last alterations that I made, I did not put the buttons on the right side of the dress and the buttonholes on the left side of the dress, which is traditional for women. The reason why I did not do that is because when I added the length for the dress, I forgot to add the length for the button plackets to be level with the actual skirt. So I actually added the length to the plackets by adding fabric, which means there's a visible seam at the bottom of my plackets. Okay, the right seam is not detectable, but the left is, if you're really looking. So I put the buttonholes on the right side of the dress because it would lay over the left once the garment was on, and no one would know. Okay, so I know I could have just cut the skirt back down by the 2 inches that I added, especially since it wasn't necessary, but it was just easier for me to add the length to the 2 plackets. It was just, I don't know, about 2 inches wide, 3 or 4, you know, maybe 3 inches long, that I had to cut out. Much easier than going around the whole circle skirt and measuring out 2 inches, and you know, to make sure that it was even, and chopping it off. So that is the reason why I went ahead and did that. but I don't have any modification recommendations. I do feel like this pattern is perfectly fine, even though I did add the tabs and the buttons on the side. That for me is just like more cosmetic, even though it does help, you know, if you're hot. For me, it was more so cosmetic. But as far as recommending this dress to others, absolutely yes. This dress is fabulous. This dress is trendy. This dress is fashionable. This dress is classy. So yes, 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 this is a very versatile dress when it comes to occasions, and I love it. And I actually was going to do a sew along for this dress because I know that people would be able to sew this up and be happy with the results. But the reason why I did not do the sew along is because I was rushing in the beginning and I didn't record it, because when I'm trying to meet a deadline and I don't have a lot of time, I will not do a sew along because it takes a little bit more time and you have to stop and record, stop, record, explain, versus just having a flow. But if I'd have known that I wasn't going to get this done in time, I would have. So when I do decide to make it again, if no one else has done it, I would definitely make a sew along for this dress. So as far as the availability, this dress pattern came out in 2019 and it is still available for purchase at your local Joann Fabrics and on the Something Delightful website. And I paired this top with some black open toe pumps that I purchased from Kohl's a long time ago. And as far as my accessories, I wore my gold because I thought it would bring out the green colors, and yeah, gold necklace and gold earrings, and I think it turned out great. So now I will enter a few more pictures and twirls of me in my Butterick 6702 button front graduation dress. So yes, 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 this is yet another winner in my book. I am so loving this dress, and the colors and the style in general is just one that I am in love with. I would definitely make this pattern again, but I do want to try some other shirt dresses or button down dresses before I could make another version, because I want a collection of this style of dress and just kind of compare which one I like the best out of all of them. So, but trust me, I'm sure you will definitely see this again. Alright, so please let me know what your thoughts are about this pattern and my dress in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts. But before you leave, please take a pause for the cause and click the like button and the subscribe button and the gray notification bell so that you can be notified of future videos. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all of my new and returning subscribers for your support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!